I'm excited to talk about this topic tonight because there's a lot of people struggling with this. And if you have gastritis, it's debilitating. So I have done classes on this before, but I decided it was a while back. It was a couple of years ago. And I just decided I wanted to go and take a little deeper dive into this tonight for some of you. There was somebody special I'm really like giving this class to. I won't mention her name, but I really wanted to dig in deeper on this to make sure that I provide you guys with a strategy and some idea of what it is and what you can do about it. So as I say every class, when you have a symptom, when you have been diagnosed with a disease or you have a symptom, it's never just one thing causing a disease. There is a numerous amount of things that take place in our body at the same time. So if you have inflammation, if your hormones are out of balance, if you have an enormous amount of stress in your life, if you are not nutrified, meaning that if you have nutritional deficiencies, if you're not putting the right foods in your body, if you are on a lot of medications, if you have a really poor mindset, or you're inactive, all of these things are going to cause problems with your health, meaning that if one of these is off or more than one of these are off, it's going to cause imbalance in the body. When you have imbalance in the body, it causes a symptom. When you have a symptom, it's a signal that there's something out of balance, right? It's similar to, let's say you're driving your car. Okay, if you're driving your car, all of you picture yourself driving your car. If you look at your car and you see the red engine light come on in your car, what do? You don't just ignore it, especially if it's been the first time you've ever seen your red engine light on. You don't look at the red engine light and say, there's nothing wrong. No, you stop. You probably take it to a mechanic. You bring it to your husband to look at or whatever. You want to do something about the red engine light, because the red engine light, when it comes on, is a signal that there is something going on with the engine in your car. It's nothing to mess around with. You don't wait. So a symptom in your body, and a symptom can be anything from headaches, from indigestion, from heartburn, to being overweight, high blood sugars, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I mean, all those are symptoms. So a symptom in the body is a signal, your red engine light, that there is something out of balance in the body. So if any of these things are out of balance, you will have a symptom. And when you have symptoms that you don't address, they turn into disease. And that's when you go to your medical doctor and they diagnose you with a disease. And then what do they do when they diagnose you with a disease, right? They look at your symptoms, they look at the diagnosis, and then they look in their little handy dandy book and they figure out which medication matches the symptom, which medication matches the disease. Medications treat, they don't heal. They treat, they don't heal. I'm not against medications all the time, but I'm against medications being used wrong. And a lot of you are getting your medications used wrong. They're putting you on medications for everything and anything, and they're not ever getting to the underlying root cause of your problem. So these classes in this group, and I have hundreds of classes in this group. So I've done classes every week for years, and I've uploaded a lot of classes. So there's lots of information in this group. But every single class in this group is designed to give you an alternate perspective on health. It's to give you the holistic perspective on health. It's to give you information on how you can determine, how to create balance in your body so that some of those symptoms will go away and you will fix the underlying root cause and not just treat it with medications. Okay. So tonight we are talking about gastritis. So many people are affected with this, and we're seeing more and more and more of it nowadays. Especially just recently, people are complaining about pains in their stomach and having a lot of acid reflux and heartburn and just really some chronic pain. So what is gastritis? It is inflammation of the stomach. Okay, so what's happening is when you have gastritis, you have a mucus lining inside of your stomach. This mucus lining is super thick, and that mucus lining is to protect your stomach from acid. Okay, so our stomachs need to have a lot of acid in our stomachs. Acid is what digests your food. So this mucus layer is so thick that it protects your organ basically from the acidic part of the stomach, which is the acid. So we're supposed to have a lot of acid in our stomach, but what happens with gastritis is, for reasons we're going to talk about tonight, this mucus lining starts to erode. It starts to get weak and thin, and eventually, if you get an ulcer, there's actually a little hole there. And when that acid gets out into the stomach, it's not protected by this mucus lining. Whew, it's painful. It's very painful. And this is nothing to mess around with. If you are, if you have gastritis, you've been diagnosed with ulcers, it can lead to other more serious diseases. So you want to make sure that you get this taken care of. So some of the symptoms of gastritis are indigestion, acid reflux, vomiting or nausea, especially if you're vomiting up anything yellow or green. That's the bile that your gallbladder holds onto. So that's what that would be. Nausea, low appetite, ab pain, especially in the upper part of the abdomen, bloating, gas, and then loss of appetite. Those are just some of the symptoms. Now, when you go to a medical doctor and they diagnose you with gastritis, and basically how they diagnose you, there's no blood test really. What they'll do is they'll go by your symptoms, and sometimes they'll do a scope and they'll be able to determine it that way. But most of the time they'll just say, oh, you got gastritis, and they'll put you on antacids. They'll tell you not to eat spicy foods. They'll give you some antibiotics. If they give you an antibiotic, they're assuming that you have an infection called H. pylori. We'll get into that a little bit more later. And they also they never tell you what the underlying root cause is. They never do, because they don't know. So this is their remedy. Let's do a scope if needed. Let's put you on antacids. Let's tell you not to eat spicy foods, and let's put you on antibiotics. Now, is that going to fix anything? No. So when you get a diagnosis of gastritis, I'm going to show you tonight some things that you can do immediately to be able to get some relief and to heal the gastritis. Not medicate, but heal it. Before we go into that, let's talk about the causes. So the causes of gastritis are caused by, for sure, your diet, by too much alcohol. Again, you can have one or more of these, but these are the top common things that when you have the wrong diet or you're consuming a lot of alcohol, this will cause inflammation of the stomach. Okay, aspirin. If you're taking a lot of aspirin or NSAIDs, which are steroids, basically, non-steroidal drugs, they are going to cause the breakdown of that stomach lining. Okay, H. pylori. H. pylori is a microbe that's pretty dangerous, and when H. pylori gets in your system, it will affect your stomach lining. Drinking bad drinking water. So sometimes you'll hear a lot of times when people will go on vacation or overseas, and they'll come back with an H. pylori infection from dirty drinking water. So you can get H. pylori from bad drinking water. So you want to make sure that you're always filtering your water or buying bottled water that's clean, because again, you don't want to drink water out of a faucet ever, ever, ever. Also, high stress. Stress is a very, very, very common reason why people will have gastritis. And the reason why is because when you're stressed out, it raises your cortisol. And that cortisol, what it does is increases gastric acids. And a lot of other things happen when your cortisol is elevated for a long period of time. So that causes ulcers by having high stress, high cortisol. So if you've been diagnosed with this is the other thing you have to start to manage is your stress. Also, bile reflux. So if you have a gallbladder that is sluggish, or you have ducts that are sluggish, or you have no gallbladder and you've got this duct is not working right, you can have what's called bile reflux. So a lot of times people will go to their medical doctor and they'll have acid reflux, but it really could be bile reflux. So that is something also that especially if you've had any diagnoses with your gallbladder, that is definitely something that could be going on. Sibo, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, is another cause of gastritis. And basically what Sibo is just you have the wrong kind of bacteria in the wrong spot. So we are supposed to have the majority of our bacteria in our large colon. And if you get too many in your intestine, your small intestine, then you're going to have a lot of symptoms. So what is the remedy? Well, let's talk about that. First and foremost, you've got to change your diet. This is not something that is an easy, quick fix. If you've been diagnosed with this and you have these symptoms, this is the first thing you got to change is your diet. And you need to make some big changes. Gastritis is very picky. And if you have an inflamed stomach, there's not a lot of foods that are going to go in and feel very good, okay? So the best foods that you can eat to heal gastritis are what I'm going to talk about. And you've got to eat small portions. That's the other thing. Eat small portions of food, because large volumes of food will cause too much pressure on the stomach. So you want to have small portions, and you want to make sure that you're not drinking water with your meal. So why? I want to tell you this, because if you have gastritis and you're drinking a lot of water with your meals, you're already diluting stomach acid that you are low on. So we want to chances are you have very low stomach acid as it is, right? And so you need every little bit of stomach acid to be able to digest any of the food that you're eating. So when you have water on top of that, it just dilutes that. So we always recommend that you just drink water around your meals. So half hour before your meal, half hour after or so, but just don't drink water during your meals. That's going to really help relieve some of those symptoms. The other thing you can try is bone broth. Why? Because bone broth contains glutamine, proline, glycine, and collagen, which helps repair the stomach lining. Remember, the lining of the stomach, that mucosal lining, when it gets ruptured or eroded or thin or has ulcers, you got to repair that lining. Otherwise, you're never going to feel good. So we want to start to put foods in and things in that help with that process, and bone broth is one. The other thing is cabbage. Cabbage is an amazing food to eat for healing that stomach and giving you some relief. Why? Because it's high in sulfur, it's high in vitamin C, and it's going to give you some relief and help with the repair process. The other thing is cabbage comes in the form of cabbage juice, coleslaw, or sauerkraut. So even Brussels sprouts would be good. But what I found is that if you do a concentrated cabbage juice, these are going to be well tolerated inside of your body. So a lot of people who have gastritis, when they have cabbage juice, coleslaw, sauerkraut, they don't have any symptoms. Like they won't have any sort of symptoms. They're very well tolerated. So I would start incorporating these foods into your diet along with very small portions throughout the day. Don't eat too much, and don't drink any water with your meal. The other thing that you want to make sure that you add in your diet is broccoli sprouts. Why? Because it's very high in phytonutrients, and it helps heal your gut and reduce your inflammation. Okay, so you want to add broccoli sprouts to your diet. The other thing is aloe vera juice. Very good for healing ulcers. If you've been diagnosed with an ulcer, also improves your digestion. Ginger tea is really good for your stomach lining, for healing. It's very soothing to the stomach. So here's an idea for you to be able to combine a tea with the aloe. You could take some ginger powder, mix it with aloe juice, and sip on it all day long. I found that this ginger aloe combination is very soothing, and also keep doing this over a period of time. It will give you some relief and potentially help you heal that mucosal lining. Also, you want to make sure that you stay away from raw for a while. Again, remember, these strategies that I'm teaching you have to be done initially for kind of a long period of time until your body starts to heal. If you keep putting stuff in that you know is causing inflammation, or you know that's causing symptoms, or you know that's not helping with the repair, you're just going to prolong the the healing process. So you want to stay away from raw and try to eat more cooked vegetables. Okay, so when you're preparing and eating vegetables that you know are easily absorbed, then you want to stick with vegetables versus raw, cooked versus raw. So let's talk about foods to avoid. You want to avoid hot and spicy foods, acidic foods like tomatoes, citrusy type foods, alcohol, caffeine. You want to really limit your caffeine to maybe a little bit once per day. But if you know that's a trigger, then just stay away from that. Dairy products for sure. So many people come to me and say, well, what about, yogurt? I thought that was good. No, you can do kefir, but you want to stay away from dairy. Dairy is the worst. Dairy and soy are the worst things you can put in your body to help disrupt and cause inflammation in the gut. And then gluten for sure. Gluten is just going to keep your entire body and your cells inflamed. The other thing is GMOs. When you put GMOs in your body, GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and those are basically any foods that are processed, right? So you want to try to stick with organic as much as you can and not put in GMO. So when you're looking for foods, look for the non-GMO label and the organic label, okay? I know this seems like a lot, but this is what we have to do in order to kind of start the process of healing your gastritis. And so now I want to talk about some of the other things you can do besides the diet, okay? So healing your gastritis takes time, and you have to be very selective in your foods, and diet is just one step. Okay, so that's step one. So those are some of the things you can do with your diet. Now let's talk about the other things that we need to do from a lifestyle approach to be able to, reduce the symptoms and heal the body. We've got to reduce our stress. Number one, like I said earlier, when you have stress in your life, it's raising that cortisol, and cortisol is disrupting a lot of stuff, especially like cortisol will directly cause ulcers. When you have too much cortisol over time, it breaks down that stomach lining, which is what's causing the ulcers. So you got to think of ways to reduce your stress. If it means taking walks, if it means taking baths. By the way, if you take a bath, put in a lot of magnesium, like Epsom salts, which is magnesium. That's an awesome way to get some healing into the body. If you need to read a book, if you need to exercise, whatever you need to do to reduce stress. Stay off the news, quit watching the news, quit, talking to people who are toxic, whatever you need to do to reduce your stress, you have to think of ways to do that. The other thing is you have to increase your sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, we have to work on finding ways to help you get some sleep. If you're going to sleep at 1 or 2, if you're starting your night at 1, 2 in the morning, you're disrupting your circadian rhythm. You always want to try to go to bed between 9 and 10, right? And then let your body's natural circadian rhythm get you up when you need to get up. The problem is a lot of people, they have a hard time falling asleep, and then when they do get to sleep, right, then they get up. Well, all of that is hormone and blood sugar related. So that's a whole nother class. In fact, I've done a class in here on sleep. So go ahead and click on the top here where it says files under media and look for that class, because I do give you a class on that. But you've got to increase your sleep. Sleep is going to help you with the healing process, because you heal the body at night. At night when you are sleeping is when your body heals. So if you're not sleeping very well, you're disrupting that healing process. The other thing you want to do is take vitamin D. Make sure you're taking vitamin D, because that helps lower your cortisol. I would recommend maybe taking vitamin D at night, especially if you are having problems sleeping. That might lower the cortisol, which might give you some relief there. Also, you might want to take it twice a day, morning and evening. That seems to be effective for a lot of people. The other thing you want to incorporate is zinc carnosine. Okay, this will help with your gastritis and the ulcers in your stomach. You also might want to try mastic gum. Now, this is kind of a new thing out on the, well, it's not a new thing on the market, but it's one of those things that a lot of people don't know about. But this is similar to like an antacid, but it's more natural. So it's called mastic gum, and this will help with reducing the acid that's causing that ulcer in your stomach. So you might want to try that. It's something that you can maybe try instead of doing an antacid, this is just more of a natural remedy. The other thing is you want a probiotic. I'm going to get into that a little bit more later. And I already said aloe juice. So these are some of the things that you have to start implementing right away. And also movement, walking, running, exercising, weight training, whatever it is that you can. Okay. Let's talk next about straight up supplements for gastritis. You want an SBO organic probiotic. And this is a soil-based organism. That's what SBO means. So when you go look for probiotics, look for SBO organic, soil-based organisms probiotic. In gastritis clients, this is a better probiotic for you to get because it's giving you some specific organisms that you need for healing that gut. Also, you want to be sure you take digestive enzymes before you eat. Okay, because when you have gastritis, we know you have low stomach acid. You're going to need some help with digesting that food. So you want to take digestive enzymes. The other thing you want to start implementing is licorice root extract. Licorice root extract is very calming and very soothing to the gut, and that will also help you with your healing journey. Okay, so that's it, right? I kind of went pretty fast. I wanted to make sure I got everything in. Trying to keep these classes under a half hour, but boy, it's sure challenging for me because I always have so much information. But basically, that is what you guys have to start doing if you suspect you have gastritis or if you've been diagnosed with it, okay? So again, most important is your diet is making sure that you really start to implement some of those healing foods into your body. You want to reduce your stress. You want to start to, examine what you're putting in as far as like GMO and non-organic foods. You want to be sure that you're moving and you're exercising, incorporate aloe juice, incorporate the SBO probiotics, and just, allow yourself some time. What commonly I hear from you guys is, yeah, Terry, I tried that and it didn't work. And you've been on it for like one day, right? You've got to try these things for a long period of time. And I'm just going to be honest with you, gastritis, inflammation of the stomach takes time to heal, especially for those of you who have had it for a long time. If you've just been recently diagnosed and just recently have acquired symptoms, then it might not take you as long to heal, but still it's going to take time. So don't expect to heal your gastritis in a week, 2 weeks, a month. It might take you 6 months. So you're going to have to be very proactive in some of these strategies and be consistent with them. If you're consistent for a week, don't expect that you're going to get, a lot of relief long term. If let's say you're doing really well for 2 weeks and then you add gluten in, you're going backwards. You've got to be very consistent. Gastritis is nothing to mess around with, but it's not exactly a super, easy fix. The other thing that I didn't mention on here, which is super important, is you have to intermittent fast. You've got to learn how to intermittent fast. That is that's included in your diet. When I said eat small meals per day, it's not eating 6-8 small meals a day. It's eating like once or twice or 3 times at the max per day. You want to learn how to intermittent fast. Okay. So with that being said, for all of you guys, I want to help you. I want to teach you. And I have something I am going to share with you tonight that will actually allow you to be able to get coached by me. I am offering a camp. I'm offering this camp that is called the Diabetes Lifestyle Coaching Academy Camp. And this camp is on either Saturday the 29th or Sunday the 30th. If you are struggling with any sort of condition, if you're a woman in this group, which I know you are because this is an all-women's group, if you are a woman who are struggling with being overweight, with your blood sugars being high, if you're have type 2 diabetes, if you have fibromyalgia, if you are having issues losing weight, if you are struggling with knowing what to eat, if you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, gastritis, whatever it is, this camp is going to give you an amazing jumpstart on what you can do to start healing your body and getting results. I pack this camp with so much information, like so much information. So if you go to theacademycamp.com, all right, here's the times. You have Saturday or Sunday to pick from. So here's the times. It's a 4-hour camp, and there is a lot of information. You will leave this camp with so many tools that you will be able to take with you and start implementing right away. Get registered. You have nothing to lose. It's amazing. I promise you, you will get value, and I'm excited to have you there because I love, 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 love. I love talking to you guys, and I love helping you try to wrap your head around some of these symptoms and diseases that you have been struggling with for so long. And I know this to be true because I have so many clients that come to me that have been frustrated for years because they're not getting any help from their medical doctors. I'm not knocking medical doctors. What I'm saying is medical doctors, especially now in this day and age, they have no time for you. They have no time to sit there and teach you how to heal your body. They don't have time. That you get 5 minutes with them every 6 months or 7 months. They don't have time. I mean, look at me. I spend every week just a half hour teaching you guys a class. Plus, you need more time with somebody like myself to be able to figure out what's going on with you and to be able to come up with a customized protocol for you. And that's what camp is. Camp is going to give you an opportunity for me to take a look at your health situation. You're going to get a free health report. I'm going to take a look at your health situation. I'm going to say, hey, this is how I think you should start. This is a great way for you to get going. I will be very thorough with my analysis of your health evaluation, and you're going to have an opportunity to be able to get that from me. So please get your booties to camp, because I promise you, you will leave camp feeling rejuvenated, uplifted, encouraged, and you'll have tools in your toolbox to be able to implement starting right away. All right, you guys? So I want to see if there's any questions before I end tonight. Do you guys have any questions for me? You guys are quiet. No questions? I must have covered everything and explained everything just perfectly fine. Yeah? Is that what happened? Being there's no questions? Sometimes, though, to be honest, like I project this on my phone, and sometimes I don't get your comments on my phone. So I'm not sure there's a workaround with that. Sometimes I go back and I see the comments. I see you guys have asked questions. I miss them because I don't get them on my phone. So anyway, just tag me if you have a question about this. But in the meantime, get registered for camp, you guys, because I'm telling you right now, you will benefit so much from it. So if you go to academycamp.com, you click on that link, and it's going to bring you to a checkout page where you will be able to choose between either Saturday or Sunday. Once you choose the date, it will check you out. I will be notified, and then you will instantly get access to the camp portal where there'll be videos and information in there for you to be able to start getting prepared for camp. I need information from you about for camp. So once you get enrolled, then I will be starting your case file. I will be collecting information from you so that the day of camp, I will be able to coach you and be able to help you and give you so much information on how you can start to feel better and start to, ask somebody from the holistic side what could be happening and what you could start doing to implement health instead of always being forced to be put on medications. That's what I won't do. Is I will not recommend medications. Because why? Because I'm not a medical doctor. I can't prescribe you medications, but I can prescribe you nutritional approaches and supplements that will help you to start healing and your body and fixing the imbalance in your body. Okay, you guys? So go ahead and get registered. I look forward to seeing you at camp. It's going to be amazing. And if you have any questions, just tag me or just message me. If you have any questions about camp, I will be glad to answer them for you, and invite your girlfriends. I promise you, you do it together with your girlfriends. It's so much fun if you invite a girlfriend to camp, because then you guys can do it together and you kind of partner up and buddy up, and it's a really fun. I've had a lot of mothers and daughters do it together. So if you have a daughter or a mom in this group that's not in the group and you want to do camp together, it's an amazing experience to do it with a girlfriend or your mom or daughter. Okay, you guys, have an amazing night. I hope this class was helpful. Always remember that this class will be on replay. If you click up here in the media section, all the classes are always recorded in here and they're stored, and you can always go back and watch them. All right, have an amazing night. Get signed up for camp. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.